Hello, everyone. My name is Chloe. Welcome to the Booktube Chicks book club for August. As usual, I am here. I'm here with these two lovely ladies, who I will introduce in just a moment. But tonight we're talking about "If He Had Been With Me" by Laura Nowlin. This is a YA, kind of like a, I guess I would call it a hard hitting contemporary. Um, but we'll talk more about that in a little bit. Um, for those who have never done one of our live shows before, basically the way it's going to work is for the next 5 to 10 minutes or so, we're going to do introductions and initial thoughts on the book. And these are all spoiler free. And then we will go into spoiler discussion about the book. So, Kat, since you're next to me, if you want to go ahead and start.
Yes, okay. So this was my pick for this month. I got like the second book, the arc of the second book during Y'all Fest, and it seemed interesting. It seemed like it was more of like a dark contemporary for YA readers. I did, for the most part, enjoy this book. I just think that because I'm no longer a teen, have not been a teen for a very long time, I just felt like some of these characters were juvenile. But again, this is a young adult book. These characters are teenagers. They're not meant for my age demographic anymore. So there were times where I was like a little bit bored with this book. But overall, I enjoyed the story. I gave it 3.5 stars. There is a lot of trigger warnings in this book, including like depression, attempted suicide, and a very, very, very sad moment at the end. So this book is, in my opinion, at the end, very, very sad, and it was just very talking about things that teenagers go through. We have all been teenagers before, so we can kind of relate to some of these characters. But again, because I'm no longer in that age range. I haven't been reading YA in a very, very long time. I couldn't really connect to some of the problems that these teenagers are going through. So my rating is at 3.5.
I think I didn't really like the writing. Um, it didn't feel very engaging. It was
I
just a
agree with that
lot
too.
of
I agree. The writing, yeah, I agree.
and so there were things happening and going on, but there was just I don't know. And even though it was first person, which I normally like really enjoy, I just wasn't connecting. Um, and not that Autumn necessarily did anything wrong, but I don't know. I just didn't really care about any of the characters or what they were dealing with. Probably because, as Kat said, like, just have not been reading YA. Like, there was a time where I absolutely loved reading YA because everything was such a big deal and they were dealing with these big moments in life and, like, losing your virginity or trying drugs for the first time or, like, just like all these things that were kind of happening in the book. But at this point, it's just like, I don't care. I just don't care. um I don't know, because it's not like grown people problems are that exciting either, but um I think the combination of just the writing not being super engaging, and then the characters didn't feel like that fleshed out to me. um like, yeah, all right, so I'm gonna say that I would give it like a 2.5.
I agree with a lot of what they are saying. I will say, like, chapter one, I was like hooked. And then until about 75% of the way through, I was bored. I think that things kind of started to pick up towards the end. Since we're in a spoiler free section, all we can really say is it's a very sad ending. Um, but the writing style, it was very stream of consciousness for me. And I feel like I was like extra grumpy about it because I had read a book, like probably like the book right before that. I can't even remember what it was. That was the same thing, like very just stream of conscious, like was not here for it. And also it's just, thoughts of a teenager in high school, and it, like the others have said, it's made the book less interesting for me because I don't care. Um, but I don't know. I agree with a lot of what both of you guys are saying. I gave it 3.5 stars. Um, I guess let's just go into spoilers because I feel like we can't avoid them at this point. I really liked the later on interactions between Autumn and Finn. To the point where I was just like, guys, like if this had been the whole book, it probably would have been better.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of what happened is, especially in the beginning where they weren't really friends, it's just a lot of miscommunication and a lot of like teen drama where she was friends with one group and then she wasn't friends with one group, and then there was a whole like fight over a lunchroom table, and just very teenagerish things. And I think I agree with Desiree. I didn't really think about this when I was talking. I think a lot of the issues with me not connecting or relating to the character is the writing. I was thinking about this when I was reading it, is that this is such a great concept for the book, and it had like great marketing and it had like so much potential to it, and I feel like it had a good premise for a YA book, but I just felt like the writing was very shallow. We get glimpses of the relationships and the little petty dramas that teenagers go through, and them growing up, because we're seeing 4 years of high school when they start from freshman year all the way till their senior year, and then talking about college, and like Desiree said, talking about having sex for the first time and falling in love and all those things. We have these 4 years of these teenagers growing up and going through all of these things, and it just felt like the writing didn't substantiate everything that we've all been teenagers, we've all gone through all of these scenarios, and I just felt like I couldn't relate to it. Just I think it was stemmed from the weak writing.
Like even Jamie, who
it bothered me a lot that he kept pressuring her. So I was just saying this, but go ahead.
Yes, I agree with you, but also like I don't think and we're all different, obviously. She could say I'm waiting for marriage. Whatever, like her decision is her decision. But that kind of felt unrealistic to me. I don't think I know anyone that waited that long to sleep with somebody that they were with for that long. Yes, his pressuring was annoying, but like I can almost see like how he was like, what's the real problem? Like, I don't know. Because she kept saying, I love you, I love you. And then like, no, I was in the car when she said it has to be special. And then she was like, in a beautiful room, seeing the Eiffel Tower out the window. And I was like, girl.
I was like, okay, here's the thing. I understand the whole wanting to be special, because I feel like teenage girls are like that. They want their first time to be, but they want to please their boyfriend so much that they're willing to do away with that. But the whole like I remember that scene where she was talking about, I wanted to look out and see the Eiffel Tower. I was like, when are you gonna go to Paris? Okay, you're gonna make this man wait till you have like adult
an international virginity loss.
You're like, I'm gonna need you to settle for like a photo of the Eiffel Tower.
Like, no, I can totally understand like a teenager being like, oh, I want to be in a nice hotel with candles and rose petals. Okay, whatever. Sounds lovely. Like that just sounds super doable. But the whole like being in another country with the Eiffel Tower, that just was like, wow, those are some crazy expectations.
Listen, this is just me nitpicking, but a hotel is a bit of a stretch too, considering most of them you have to be like 25 to check in.
You know what?
Here's the thing. She was, in her expectations of what she wanted her first time to be like, was very unrealistic. However, her expectations of wanting it to be special, I think, is very reminiscent of what teenage girls want. I think that she would have been like, oh, if we can do it in your room, you could put some rose petals on the, I don't know, make it special. But she was like, I don't want to do it in your room, and I certainly don't want to do it in my room. And then she was like talking about Paris. I was like, girl, slow your roll. You need adult money first to go to Paris. You don't have.
I mean, I totally get she didn't want to lose her virginity in the car. Like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Like,
but when she was like talking about like not in his room and not in her room, I was like, where do you're teenagers? Where do you want to go do it? You know?
I mean, at the end of the day, special meant not him. Like, so whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that too. I think her nervousness of wanting, I think her excuse, I mean, she did want it to be special, but I think it was more like with that special person, not necessarily
Right.
the special
Yeah.
circumstances. So
Perhaps she kept putting it off with him because subconsciously she
yeah,
knew that it wasn't going to be
absolutely.
him.
Yeah, that's what I
Like, it ain't
think.
going to be you.
Like, it wasn't totally in her awareness, but because she didn't seem to have any problems when it was Finn. There was no question. Like, where'd they do that? That wasn't like, whose
That
room
was
was
in,
that in? It
I
wasn't in
think
Paris.
I think it was in her room, right? Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
So
The important part is there was no Eiffel Tower.
I mean, that would be nice if she was rich and there was like a possibility of her parents giving her money to go to Paris so she can lose her virginity. But you know,
Oh, where was I going with that? Do you guys think you'll? This is kind of like an end of live show question, but I'm going to ask it now anyway. Do you think you guys will read the sequel, which is the book from his perspective?
oh, is that what it is?
yeah, that's supposed to. I didn't know that either till Chloe said it. It's yeah, the second book is supposed to be from his perspective. Um, I I don't think I'll reread the whole book. I think I'll just reread the ending because I do want to know. I want to see the scene from his perspective of the accident at the end. I want to know because we get her perspective of what she was told happened. But I would love. I want to read from his since he was obviously there. So
Wait, so you're saying you would just open the second book to the end?
yeah.
And
I think that's exactly what she said.
I mean, I might go back and like at some point one day reread the whole book, but for now, like right now, I'm gonna go pick up the book and just read the last 50 pages.
Okay, so he was electrocuted, right? Like he stepped in like a puddle that had a downed wire in it.
Yes.
Okay, because I didn't remember that earlier today, and I was just thinking about. I was like, how is it that the ex girlfriend, I can't even remember her name, how is it that she went through a freaking windshield and survived, and he didn't? But that makes more sense since it
She
happened.
didn't survive. She died, didn't she?
No, she survived. I think she had like. I remember it was either the beginning or at the end where it said she only came away with like some scratches and like a
what?
broken arm. Unless I'm like completely forgetting this. I mean, it has been like over a week since I read the book.
Okay, give me a second because I gotta reread this. I'm pretty sure she died. She flew through a windshield.
Check chapter 1 because I wish I had a copy of the book, but check chapter 1 because I feel like something was mentioned in the beginning of the book.
Hold on. Oh, I guess I missed that part because I thought she died. Yeah, it says that she's on the back of the police car talking to the officers about the argument that they had. Oh, okay. So it says when the impact occurs, she sails through the windshield and out into the night, and probably miraculously only suffering minor cuts on her arms and face. Okay.
But like, she went through a windshield,
Hold on.
and if he had just stepped around a puddle, he would live.
I feel like the scenes where she's talking about what happened are kind of weird, because it's almost like, I mean, she's not actually there, but she's talking like she's there, like she dreamt it, or
You know, I think this book is supposed to be almost like diary entries because of how stream of conscious it is and how it's just thoughts. So I wonder if that's why it feels like that.
Yeah, but I would think that a teenager's thoughts would be more interesting than the way.
No, not about that part. About how the how her talking about the accident sounds weird, like what Desiree was just saying.
because like her internal dialogue is like mixed in with the explanation of what happened, like her being stay with me, you know, like, and that, I don't know, it seems strange. But
can we also briefly talk about how I feel like there was a line that she said or something? It was like when they were about to have sex and there was no condom, and one of them, I think it was her, said like, "Oh, it's fine. Like, you know, what could happen? Like, you had a whole friend."
Yeah, I know.
Baby. And in my mind, I didn't think it was actually going to be in the book, and then it was. In my mind, I was like, she's going to be pregnant. It's literally right there. Like, what could happen? You saw what could happen.
I have a hard time with that too. That like two girls from the same friend group ended up pregnant the same way based off of one time. Like I get that one time can happen, but do you know, like, the stars have to align in such a way for that to happen? Not only that, but like,
wait, what did you say that she said, Chloe?
I don't know. What?
She doesn't say whatever it is that you said. She says, "I don't care."
Okay, close enough. You know,
she says,
obviously you should care.
Yeah.
And then she says, "Please."
So, I understand what the author was doing. Of like, okay, Finn dies.
You got to think about, you're thinking from an adult mindset. This is a teenager. She's like 17, 18 years old.
She's a teenager who saw her friend go
I'm sorry,
by having sex once, unprotected sex once.
I'm sorry, but again, you guys are thinking from an adult, rational mind. Okay. This is a teenage girl who's about to have her first time with a guy that she has been in love with for like 4 years. So, just saying.
Okay, but I understand.
I do agree with you guys.
I understand what the author was doing by like having Finn die and then her being pregnant with his baby, of like, oh, he can live on or whatever. But also at the same time,
I hated that.
Exactly. Exactly.
I was like, this girl was about to kill herself. She didn't do it, and now she's gonna stay because of, like, no. I'm like, yes, the child. If she wants the child, then that's fine. But I think that whole ending was such a cop out and stupid. And no.
Oh God.
I'm like, a few hours ago, I was so sad. I wanted to kill myself so I could be in the most horrific way. I'm going to kill myself so I can be with my boyfriend. Oh, no, wait, I'm pregnant with his baby. Let's just stay. My depression will go away. Who cares? I'm like,
oh my God. And like surprise pregnancy is like a
I
much
hate that.
hated trope, and the fact that like, there was 2 surprise pregnancies.
Twice.
I wouldn't hate it so much if it wasn't so abrupt, like the ending. Like we all we see is the nurse walk out with her pregnancy test or whatever it was, and then it just ends, and I'm just like, seriously.
Wait, Chloe, you said that the ending made it so much more interesting to you that you're willing to read the second book, but like, did you not know that he dies?
Okay, here's the thing.
Yeah,
I
what
knew
was
something
about
tragic.
that ending that you liked? I wanted to, I did not like
It's
that
not.
ending.
It's not about the death. It's about their interactions together. Felt like so much better than
I
her.
agree.
And
Yes,
Jamie.
than her bullshit with everybody else. I knew this was a sad story, but I didn't know how it was a sad story, so I was kind of just, letting it ride. However, I was gonna say, before you asked me, I was gonna say talking to you guys about this is making me reconsider wanting to read. I just feel like it would be better from his perspective.
I mean, is this author's first book? I don't even know. I don't want to judge this author. For me, again, I liked the premise of the story. I just think that the writing did not do it justice. So
I paid money for this book.
so did I.
I didn't.
I did too.
Oh, I forgot you got the second one from y'all.
I didn't get either of them. So,
but I might just give it away. First of all, I hate Phineas as a name. Like I every time, like, just hearing Finny the whole book just drove me crazy.
Why?
Because like, when I think Phineas, I think Phineas and Ferb, and like I never,
was gonna say, does it remind you of Phineas and Ferb? That's
and
a
I
great show,
never
by the way.
even watched that. I just know that it exists, and I just
Such a
feel like
great
it's just,
show.
I just feel like that's a terrible name. Like, why would you do that to your main character? Like, he could have been anybody, and you made him Phineas.
I think it's the nickname that kills me. Finny. If it was Finn, okay, I was like, okay, I can live with that. But Finny, I agree with you on Finny. Like that's a bedroom pet name. That's not like an everyday conversation kind of name.
Okay, so it says it comes from the Hebrew word meaning serpent's mouth or oracle. And like, you know what? Unless her grandfather's name was Phineas, I don't get it. Like, I just don't get it.
Oh man.
Like, maybe Jamie should have been Phineas. Like,
You like Jake?
They should have reversed the names. Oh my god. I don't know. And then the girls in the friend group, they were annoying. They were like, they felt like phony friends.
Yeah. I think it's just the weak writing. I just felt like there was no substance to the story. So like everything felt so shallow. Like except for maybe like the ending between those moments between Finn and Autumn. I did like that. I felt like there was emotion behind the writing, but everything else I just felt the friendships, the relationships, like especially with Jamie, whatever his name was, and the fact that he cheated ish. So it all didn't bring out the emotions that I was expecting from this book, especially because I feel like this book has such high ratings on Goodreads, and I was reading some of those ratings, and I was like, people were like, "Oh my god, this is so emotional." I was like, except for the maybe last 50 pages, like where?
Same. I was thinking it was going to be emotional throughout the whole book, not just the end.
Like the fight over the lunch table. It's like, make me feel angry over a stupid lunch table, and I just felt like it was just petty teenager fight.
I mean, there was like her parents divorcing, her kind of dealing with like this depression. So there was like things happening, but I don't know. Yeah, like if the writing isn't captivating, then like why do I even care?
Yeah.
And there weren't very good descriptions of things, or the descriptions were focused on the wrong things. Like I feel like there was a part where she was describing something she was eating or putting in the microwave, and I was like, I don't care. Like and I hate feeling that way. I hate reading a book and being like, I don't care. I don't care. Because I don't usually feel like that. And like even John said, he was like, why? It's in first person. I was like, yeah, I know, but like
And it's also a little surprising though, because you're such a generous rater.
You are. You do.
No, I know that Chloe said she gave it a 3.5, and then when you said 3.5, I was like, there's no way
I was
that I'm
like,
lower than everybody.
this entire book was like hovering around like a 2.53 rating, and then you had the ending, and the ending was decent, and I was like, okay, I'll give her another half star. So I gave her 3.5.
Yeah, I was somewhere in the like 2.5 to 3 range until the ending.
Yeah, no, the ending didn't change anything for me. I mean, like, it was nice seeing them get
And it
together.
was not like the accident part. It
Right,
was the scene before, because I thought that was like they had a nice moment together.
It's the dynamic between those two.
Yeah,
the dynamic.
It was the first time I felt any actual emotion in the whole book.
Well, it was the dynamic that they should have had the whole book.
But you know what? This just makes me so afraid. Like, I have so many YA books, and like, I keep telling myself to just like incorporate them each month, so as I read them, I can get rid of them, because I have a feeling that like so many of them are just going to feel like this. And
I don't think it's so much the why. Yeah. Same. I have so many YA fantasy that I'm looking at it, and I was like, I have no desire to read any of you.
Fantasy is a little bit different, though. I feel like the fantasy elements can make up for any of the eye rolling that I'm going to give these teenagers. It feels like they tried to make Autumn really quirky, but I also didn't get that from her. Like usually when there's like a manic pixie dream girl in a book, I'm like, oh, that person's cool. I'd love to be friends with that person.
Wait, is that what she is?
No, I didn't think she was, but like, she had different color hair. She was wearing tiaras all the time. Like, like I feel like they wanted to make her seem, out there and like a snowflake, a unique snowflake, but I didn't think she was that.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like her thinking deviated much from the regular, like
the tiara thing was weird. I think.
I felt it made her feel more childish.
What, the tiara?
Yes.
Interesting. What's really funny is that I can almost relate to the tiara thing, because when I was getting married, I bought a tiara and I paid like a couple $100 for it. And so I was like, I'm going to wear this thing all the fucking time, because like this was a lot of money. I'm not just going to wear it for one day. And I definitely went to work in it a few times. And like every time I come across it, I'll wear it for like a day or two, just because I'm like, no, I paid for this.
Wait, do you still have that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I know you lost your dress in the fire, but...
Oh, yeah. Exactly.
Okay. Oh, at least you have the tiara. That's good.
So I could almost like relate to her wearing the tiara, but I can also see how you would say that it made her more childish. I don't know what else to say.
I mean, it can be a short live. Sometimes we have those when the book is not good.
And the fact of the matter is, this book is like super long. I didn't realize it until I was like looking to see what the last page was, and it's almost 400 pages. it's a chunky, thick book, and it's a beautiful cover too. Like I love
88
this cover.
chapters.
I mean, 88 short chapters.
I'm happy with the number of okay, if the more chapters there are, that's good, because I need shorter chapters, and I feel like I'm making progress. Can you imagine if this had like 20 chapters, 400 people? I would be like,
I don't think, yeah.
I would be rating this a lot lower.
Okay, so this is not book related, but it is book club related. And I don't know about you guys, because remember I sent that list of like all the ratings that I've given book club books this year? I'm all over the place, I feel like.
I think there's only been 2 books. I don't remember. I think it's been 2 books that I gave high ratings to.
I wonder if I have my list.
I know one was The Marriage Act, which was the first book we read. That was the second book. Before I Let Go, I gave a high rating. I gave that a 4. That was January book.
I have given 2 4 stars this year just for book club, and nothing higher.
Yeah.
And I haven't had a 4 star since May.
What was May?
You're Invited.
Oh.
I think that was the book that everybody liked but Desiree. Because I gave that a 4 too.
And then I gave Before I Let Go a 4, and that was January. Everything else has been a 3, a 3.5, or I have 3.
What did you rate The Marriage Act?
3.5 stars.
Really? Okay.
I have 3 2.5 stars on this list, guys.
What did you give The Marriage Act, Kat?
I gave that's my only 5-star, and then Before I Let Go and You're Invited were 4 stars. Everything else was 3 or lower.
Yeah, I think I gave The Marriage Act 5 stars too.
So I gave this one 3.5 stars. I gave The Summer Place 3 stars, and then I gave Retro, Half a Soul, and Dear Emmy Blue 2.5 stars. What is going on?
I don't know. Every time I give like a 2 star, I feel like there's something wrong with me. I'm like, what is going on in my head right now? Like, why do I feel this way?
The thing is, I was thinking about it the other day. It's funny how much like me as a reader, when it comes to rating, has changed. When I started Booktube, like back in 2017, when I first started really getting into reading, I used to give out 5 stars like candy. Like it was a lot of 5 stars. I haven't given like a 5. I think out of like the 50 plus books I read this year, I've only given a handful of books 5 stars. Everything has been 4 or less. I've given out so many 4s, so many 3s, a couple of 2s. But I was like, a few years ago, a lot of these books would have been 5 stars for me.
So I've read 100 books this year so far, and I've given 25 stars this year.
Yeah.
Wait, how am I the generous reader when Chloe's talking about how 3 is okay and like everything is like a 4?
You follow the Goodreads rating system.
For her, 2 stars is okay. Isn't that what it is for you? 2 stars is okay?
Yes.
I disagree.
Yes.
I disagree with the Goodreads rating system, and I don't think you should follow it. I even, there was a trend going around on like Threads or Twitter or whatever a couple weeks ago where people were talking about and explaining their star ratings. I even went back into my star ratings and I like revisited it and rewrote a couple.
The thing is, stars are very subjective. That's why you take star ratings with a grain of salt.
What I'm saying is that if her 2 stars is a 3 star, that means the 3 stars are all 4 stars.
What? Okay. My 2 star,
her middle ground is a 4 star.
I know I think that's weird, Chloe, too. I agree with that.
I don't understand what you're saying, though.
A 2 star is not an okay book. A 2 star is a bad book.
I know that. What do you say? For me?
Okay, tell me what your star rating is.
Okay. 5 star is I love this book and it is possibly a new favorite because not all 5 stars are created equal. A 4-star is I really like this book, but it's not a 5-star level of enjoyment. A 3 is it's okay, it's not good, but not terrible, or I was bored. Number 2 is I didn't like it, but I don't hate it. And a 1 is I hate it and I don't know why I
Okay, I
can't
was
read it.
getting you two confused. I thought
Yeah,
you were
no.
the one who had the 2 stars okay, but
No,
it's
it's
you,
Desiree.
Desiree. Yeah, no, 2 stars are bad. That's
No.
not an okay book.
It was okay.
3
It was
isn't
okay.
okay. It's in the middle.
No, 3
Okay?
is I
it's
liked
in
it.
the middle. It's okay.
3 is I liked it, but I probably won't reread it, and maybe I'll recommend it to people. Like, it might be good for, like, specific people.
You
Like, I
added
feel
like an
like
extra
I got my
rating in
money's
your
worth.
rating.
Wait, what?
No, Desiree.
That's a 3.5. That's right.
I told you she follows the Goodreads ratings, and I disagree.
But
because my rating is what
off
Chloe's
of that,
ratings are.
going off of that, me following the Goodreads rating, how am I the more generous rater? Like, if we looked at like the amount of books that you have given 4 stars to compared to the amount of books I've given 4 stars to,
Here's the thing. You'll be like, I didn't like this, I didn't like that, this was okay, blah blah blah, 4 stars. So
You are a generous rater. Because you feel bad about giving 2 stars. I'm like, if I don't like a book, I'm gonna give it the rating that I feel deserves it.
if I don't
ratings are subjective. The ratings are for readers, not writers. So I don't feel bad about hurting an author's feelings. It's because the rating at the end of the day is my personal opinion on it, and they should be proud of themselves for getting a book out there and people are reading it. So ratings are not for authors. If they get offended over a 3-star rating, then they need to get out of the kitchen. We always say for authors not to go into reader spaces. Goodreads is not an author space. It is a reader space. It's where we go to rate how we feel about a book. If you think 2 stars is an okay book, okay, that's on you. I think it's a bad book. For me, 3-star is an okay book.
right there in the middle.
So yes, I agree with Chloe. You are a generous reader. Because for you, it takes a lot for you to rate it low. Like a book has to be really bad for you to rate it low.
Like, yes.
Is there anything else we'd like to talk about with this book?
Do we have any favorite characters?
I don't remember half of them.
That's the other thing. There were a ton of characters in this book.
But they all felt the same. I mean, yeah, sure, I would say Finny, but like,
yeah.
However many girls were in her friend group, like they might as well have all been the same person because I feel like they all have the same personality.
Yeah.
Well, besides reading the second book, are you keeping this book? Is this an unhaul? Like,
I've been trying to like look at my library and see if there are books that I want to get rid of. I won't unhaul this right away, but this is definitely going on a future unhaul pile.
I read it from the library, so I don't have to unhaul it. I already gave it back.
Well,
are you gonna unhaul it?
I might.
Are you gonna read the second book?
I don't think so. I mean, like, yeah, he was like the best character in the book. I just don't think there's anything that he could say that would be super interesting from this author's writing style, because the writing style is going to be probably the same. So, like, you're just going to see more of him pining over Autumn.
Yeah, I just want to read the ending. Would you read more from this author? Let me check. Has she written other books? Is my
Has
question.
she? Yeah, has she written any adult books?
Uh, she has read other. She has written other books. Uh, there was a book that she released in 2016 called "This Song Is Not for You," but it has low ratings, very low rating, like a 3.01 rating. And there was another one that she released in 2011, but that only has 20 ratings, and it's a 4-star.
I will say it does look like the second book has more ratings. Or no, sorry, no, it doesn't. I was looking at the wrong thing. The second book has a higher average rating than the first book.
There's just so much I want to read. I don't think I care enough.
You and your massive house of books.
There's so
That's
much.
why your house is called the House of Books, because you have books still in boxes that you haven't opened.
Is there anything else we'd like to talk about with this book? Or just want to do final thoughts?
We can do final thoughts, I think, unless Kat has something to add.
You want to go ahead and start?
Me? Yeah. So 2.5. Didn't really like the writing, even though it was in first person. I didn't feel like the characters were very fleshed out. I didn't really connect with any of them. I spent a lot of time like not caring about what was happening. Um, I think for like half a second, I got interested when she was like sick, because I was like, wait, I don't know. I thought there was going to be like a weird twist or turn there where she was like getting sick, and I was like, did something happen? Did she end up having sex while she was drunk and she doesn't remember? Like, so I thought like maybe she was pregnant when she was sick, but yeah, I just feel like there was a lot of telling, and it just wasn't super interesting. So I give it. It was like a little bit more interesting than just okay. So I'm giving it a 2.5.
I wanted to really like this book, and I was excited for it because it has been, at least I think, it was super like highly marketed, and it's a beautiful cover, and it had high ratings, and a lot of people are saying it's a really good book, but it's really sad. So I was kind of like, as we talked about, I was kind of a little bit disappointed because I feel like I didn't connect with any of the characters. And I think that does stem from the weak writing, because I think it's a very, very good premise. Excuse me. It has a good storyline. I just feel like it needed better writing in order to substantiate what the author is trying to get across, which I feel like didn't come through. I did like the ending part of the book where we feel the main character and her love interest are having these really special moments, and that was actually, I feel like, the first time where I felt like I was connecting with a scene, I was connecting with characters. This does have lots of trigger warnings, and it does have a sad ending, so be aware of that. But I am giving it 3.5 stars. I don't think it was a terrible book. I do have the sequel, which is basically the book. It's the same storyline, but from the love interest perspective. I'll probably just read the ending of that. I won't go through the entire book. But yeah, I'll give this 3.5.
I agree with a lot of what was said tonight. It's very just thoughts. There's a lot of telling, not really showing. Um, it's chapter one, good, and then very boring until about 75% of the way through. I think this book benefited a lot from the Autumn Finn relationship dynamic, which is what made the ending, I think, better. But overall, it was just an okay book. I'm giving it 3.5 stars. Just because that ending just bumped it up that half star, I think. But that's pretty much it with this book. Now I'm really contemplating whether I'm actually going to read the sequel or not. Now that we've had this discussion, but yeah, that is everything we have to discuss for If He Had Been With Me by Laura Nowlin. I wish I had grabbed the book for next month before sitting down. But next month, we're going to be reading My Oxford Year by Julia Whalen. Let me see if I can pull up the cover real quick. And our live show is going to be on a different day than usual. We're going to be meeting on Friday, October 4th at 7 p.m. Eastern on my channel. Here is the cover of the book we are reading. And I'm looking forward to this book. I have read the other Julia Whalen book. Thank you for listening. And I enjoyed that, so I'm looking forward to this one. But thank you for joining us. Next week, join us on Kat's channel for Pages and Pals, 8 p.m. on September 6th. And her channel and Desiree's channel are linked in the description below. But thank you so much for joining us, and we hope to see you next month for book club. Bye.
Bye.